And I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome, everyone who is joining us today. And Ada, if you would read the public notice, please.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, Commissioners. Adequate public notice has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice has been posted at the board's office and website, emailed to the Department of State and to newspapers of broad circulation within the state.
Thank you, Ada, and roll call, please.
Commissioner Holton,
Here.
Commissioner Solomon,
Here.
Commissioner Shivakola,
Here.
Commissioner Gordon,
Here.
President Fiorelliso.
Here. And our next regularly scheduled meeting, Ada?
Our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 19, 2021 at 10 a.m. via teleconference with details to follow.
Thank you. There is a late starter on the agenda today. It's in the matter of New Jersey Board of Public Utilities Microgrid Report Town Center DER Microgrid Program, Phase 2, Detailed Designed Incentive Application. And that will be under clean energy. We will have an executive session today, and the board will be addressing the following items in executive session. Audits, item 1A, an audit of the affiliated transactions between Jersey Central Power and Light Company, First Energy Corp., and its affiliates pursuant to our regulations and statutes here in the state of New Jersey. The second item will be a clean energy item in the matter of contract for analyzing the ratepayer impact of the energy master plan. The board will take action on these items during the regular session. Executive session, I predict, will be approximately 20 to 30 minutes. And Michael, from the Attorney General's office, good morning. And would you read the justification for going into executive session, please?
Yes, good morning, sir. Agenda items 1A and 8C each fall within the contract negotiation and attorney-client privilege exceptions to the Open Public Meetings Act. These exceptions are found at New Jersey Statute 10:4-12B7. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, I will see you in executive session, and those who are watching us will be back in a few minutes. my colleagues are here, and we're back in open session. We have completed our executive session, and I just have a couple of opening remarks. Again, number one, welcome to everyone who is just joining us, and I'm happy to welcome another new staff member, Lauren Griffith, who is a climate fellow, clean energy. Lauren will be working with us for 2 years through the U.S. Climate Alliance. We're happy to have her with us, and she will be obviously working in the clean energy division, and is certainly going to be a valuable asset there. I would also like to wish all the moms in the world a happy Mother's Day, which is Sunday. And speaking personally, moms always have a warm spot in one's heart. And let's remember our moms, whether they're still with us or not. It is, well, let me just say, nobody like your mother is the bottom line. I want to encourage people who are listening to us and asking those who are listening to us to get the word out. We have been on a campaign along with our utilities to encourage folks to use energy assistance programs if they need them. Moratoriums will be coming to an end. And if people are in need of assistance programs, please take a look at our website, see what we can offer you, how we can help you. Those who may not qualify for assistance programs, please reach out to your utility. Set up a payment plan with your utility. Your utility is more than willing to sit down and work with you on a payment plan. We have to keep in mind that we've been at this for 16 months. And if one hasn't paid their utility bills, whether it's water or electricity, gas, whatever it is, it's vital. Apply for an assistance program or set up a payment plan or do both. It's vital for you. Also, I want to mention the fact that PJM is moving in the right direction as far as the MOPR is concerned. We're very optimistic that the original MOPR will be rolled back. FERC is also responsive to this idea, I believe, in speaking with the FERC commissioners. It's vital for New Jersey to have this MOPR revised or rolled back for our clean energy program. It can have a devastating effect on our clean energy program if it is not. So those are some positive thoughts coming out of PJM and FERC. I'm encouraged, and I think it's reason for all of us to be encouraged before the devastating effects of MOPR would take effect. Do any other of my colleagues wish to make any opening remarks?
As Mr. President, I join you in wishing every mother, grandmother, would-be mother a happy Mother's Day. And I think PJM has an M at the end. That's the mother. He's the mother of all the utilities. So I want to make sure that the PJM guides us in the right direction and works with us, nurtures us. Thank you.
Thank you. And I know your feeling and sentiment is in all of our hearts as far as PJM is concerned. If there are no others, let's go to the regular agenda. And the first item is an item that we did discuss in executive session, and it's audits. And Alice Bader, you're up.
Good morning, Mr. President. Thank you. And good morning, commissioners. Before you today is the matter involving the commencement of the affiliated transaction of JCP&L. It's of its audit, of its affiliated transactions, of its parent, and any kind of transactions between JCP&L, parent, affiliates, and subsidiaries, and a comprehensive management audit of JCP&L. Specifically, before you today is the selection of a consultant. The Division of Audits received bid proposals from Silver Point Consulting, Sage Management Consultants, Schumacher and Company, the Liberty Consulting Group, and Salaby Consulting and Overland Consulting. The bids range from a low of $668,900 to a high of $1,469,584. The evaluation committee, which was comprised of representatives from the divisions of audits, energy, reliability and security, and the offices of the economist and counsel's office. The evaluation committee has reviewed the bid proposals and recommends that Liberty Consulting Group be awarded this consulting engagement at a not to exceed price of $1,469,584. The basis for the selection of Liberty is explained in the attached evaluation committee report, which you all have. Staff further requests that the board authorize President Fiordaliso to execute a consulting agreement with Liberty Consulting Group consistent with the proposed attached agreement. In the event that Liberty seeks any substantive modifications to the proposed attached agreement, staff will come back to the board for consideration of those modifications.
Moved.
Do I have a second?
Second, yeah.
Thank you. Ada, don't get nervous. I know I skipped consent agendas, but after we finish this, I will we'll go back to that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But it is, this audit is extremely important. And we've talked with Alice regarding this and really want a deep dive here. We do not want a superficial audit. We want a deep dive audit because of the difficulties that have been going on with First Energy in Akron, Ohio. We want to make sure that JCP&L is not adversely affected, and therefore the customers of JCP&L are not adversely affected. So this is a very important audit, as all audits are, but especially this one when their mother company is in some transition. So we're anxious to see that. Any other comments or questions for Alice?
Yeah, I think, Mr. President, I said the audit is very timely and very much people are looking forward to it. And I want to congratulate Alice for doing such a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, roll call, Ada?
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Thank you, Alice.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, commissioners. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Ada, now let's go to the consent agenda, which you forgot, obviously. And
Thank you, Mr. President. On the following consent agenda items, 1A, 2A, 2B, and approval of the minutes for the March 24, 2021 agenda meeting.
So moved. Second.
roll call, please.
Commissioner Holden, Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Thank you, Ada. This brings us to energy and energy item 2A. Stacy Peterson, you're at bat.
Good morning, commissioners. On June 1st, 2020, South Jersey Gas filed a petition seeking authority to decrease its periodic BGSS rate, revise its balancing service clause, and revise its conservation incentive program rates. In the petition, South Jersey also proposed to recover approximately $24.6 million over a 2-year period for gas supply and related costs incurred as a result of the resolution of a contract dispute with one of the company suppliers. By order dated September 9th, 2020, the board issued an order which authorized South Jersey to implement its proposed BGSS, BSC, and CIP rates effective October 1st, 2020 on a provisional basis, with the exception of the amount related to the Antero litigation, which was removed pending a complete review by the parties. As a result of the September 2020 order, the monthly bill impact on a typical residential customer was a decrease of approximately $13.60. The parties have now executed a stipulation which provides for approval of a modified BGSS rate to include the company's proposal related to the Antero litigation. Additionally, the parties recommended approval of the provisional BSC and CIP rates as final. The stipulation was subsequently approved by ALJ Cookson. As a result, the monthly bill of a typical residential heating customer would increase by $4.65. Staff recommends the board approve the initial decision and stipulation and direct South Jersey to file revised tariffs by June 1st.
Do I have a motion?
Second, I think. I
I
saw
move
Mariana's
it.
mouth moving, but I couldn't hear her.
I move it, yeah, she,
Yeah.
Mariano can hear her here.
Second, yeah.
Okay, questions, comments for Stacy? Hearing none, roll call, Ada?
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes,
Commissioner Gordon,
yes,
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. No, thank you very much, Stacy. There are no items under cable television for consideration, nor telecommunications, nor water, nor reliability and security, nor customer assistance. That brings us to clean energy. And first item, 8A, is going to be presented by Ben Goldstein. And I think, Commissioner Gordon, you're recused on this one? is that right?
yes, Mr. President, I am recusing myself on this matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ben, you're at bat.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners, Mr. President, everyone watching. Item 8A is a commercial and industrial incentive application over $500,000 for Bristol Myers Squibb. So the company submitted an application under the Large Energy Users Program requesting board approval of a financial incentive of $819,301.66. Excuse me. This incentive would help fund the installation of energy conservation measures, or ECMs, at 4 different BMS locations across New Jersey. The proposed project has a total cost of $2,976,966.40. The proposed ECMs differ at each location. At the company's Lawrenceville location, existing pneumatic controllers would be replaced with updated models that allow for more efficient airflow. And many laboratory and office areas that don't currently have LED lighting would receive LED lighting upgrades. At the New Brunswick location, the chiller plant would be fully upgraded to be integrated into a larger existing building automation system that would more fully optimize efficiencies, and all laboratory and office areas would be given LED lighting upgrades. At the Princeton Pike location, existing LED lighting would be upgraded with occupancy sensors to reduce runtime. And finally, at the Nassau Park location, the existing condenser water system would be replaced with a new, highly efficient model, which features variable frequency drives that will allow the system to meet cooling requirements based on actual demand rather than running at a single speed at all times. On an annual basis, the project is anticipated to conserve 2,636,199 kilowatt hours of electricity and 11,577 therms of natural gas. The project will also reduce peak demand by an anticipated 78.3 kilowatts per year and result in annual energy cost savings of about $272,013.95. The payback period without incentives is 10.9 years. And when factoring in the incentives, the payback period is reduced by 3 years to 7.9 years. And based on the certifications and the information provided by the program manager and program administrator, staff recommends approval of this application for the total estimated incentive amount.
Moved. Second.
Questions, comments for Ben?
yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Ben, I just looking at this application, I know these take a long time. the TRC received this application on June 25th, 2019, and then it was certified in February 16th, 2021. I mean, I hope everything is, a lot of things change in a year and a half. So they have accounted for all the changes, or it's just the application is not static. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. You know, there's constant communication and revisions that happen, especially on large end users program with the LEUP and projects that are this comprehensive. It takes often many revisions working between TRC and the entity, the applicant staff, the on-site staff, and their it's called the subcontractors. You know, there's a lot of back and forth that needs to happen. So when the initial application came in, there's a lot of EM&V that has to happen to make sure that the application makes sense, and there's revisions that are done. So that's a long way to answer the question that yes, this is not if the application is not static, it's updated, and if any major changes that occurred from when the application was first submitted are incorporated here and in the final version.
Only difference here is that, you know, between 2019 and February 2021, COVID happened, right? COVID has changed a lot of things. So that's why I asked the question.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the usage patterns at some of these places are different than they were before, but they should still, these ECMs will still save just as much energy, if not more energy, than was initially submitted. And that's really what we're focusing on here. COVID obviously throws a complication onto pretty much everything that we do and pretty much everything that everybody does at this point. But I don't think it's a concern that this application is now outdated because of COVID.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please, Ada.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Ben, you're doing so well. Why don't you just continue?
Okay, will do. So item 8B is another commercial and industrial application over $500,000. This one is for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. And this entity submitted an application, again, under the Large Energy Users Program, requesting board approval of a financial incentive of $1,198,352.10. And this incentive would help fund an energy efficiency upgrade at the Elizabeth Port Authority Marine Terminal that has a total cost of $2,675,000. So this Elizabeth Port Authority Marine Terminal facility is operated by Mar Terminals LLC and is primarily lit currently by high mass poles, which each contain 12 1,000 watt high pressure sodium fixtures. The fixtures are controlled by photocells and operate between dusk and dawn every day of the year. This project involves removing the existing fixtures on 121 of these poles and replacing them with 3 to 8 new LED fixtures per pole, depending on the pole location and the area of operation. New controls will also be installed on 48 of these 121 poles to allow for additional dimming while maintaining required light levels. On an annual basis, this project is anticipated to conserve 3,361,370 kilowatt hours of electricity and reduce peak electric demand by 490.4 kilowatts. The project will also result in pretty sizable energy cost savings to the tune of $327,300 per year. The payback period without incentives here is 5.12 years, and when factoring in the incentives, the payback period is reduced to 2.83 years. This project would benefit another state entity and also all the residents in New Jersey, and therefore staff is recommending approval of this application for the total estimated incentive amount.
So moved.
Any questions or comments for Ben? Hearing none, roll call, please, Ada.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
And that brings us to item 8C, which is going to be presented by Dr. Ben Witherell. Ben?
Yes, good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners. Can you hear me all right?
We can, sir.
Wonderful. This matter is a request for the board to approve a contract for economic analysis and modeling consulting services. On February 17th of 2021, the board directed staff to issue a request for qualifications to retain a consultant to assist staff with modeling and analysis of a detailed ratepayer impact study related to the 2019 Energy Master Plan. Staff issued that RFQ on February 25th, and on March 24th, received proposals from 2 firms in response to the RFQ. Staff reviewed each proposal with thoughtful analysis and scored each proposal received. Staff is recommending that the board approve a contract with the selected consultant, subject to receiving all final required state approvals as were discussed in the executive session.
Moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments for Ben?
Can he give at least some time frame, or is that not something he can do at this time in terms of how long?
As far as Treasury is concerned?
No, how long the study will we anticipate taking to get that type of?
Yes, certainly. This is designed to be an 18-month study from the start, which again is pending final approval of Treasury, but we do expect that we will be kicking it off in the very near future.
Any other questions or comments for Ben? Roll call, please, Ada.
The motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. This is a very important initiative that we're taking here today, based on the governor's direction and the BPU's one of our most significant issues, I might add, is the impact of the state's transition to 100% clean energy and the effect it will have on New Jersey ratepayers. The governor has made it very clear one of his primary concerns is the impact on ratepayers. The board began looking at this issue holistically as part of the development of the Energy Master Plan, with the object of achieving the goal of 100% clean energy by 2050. During the development of the final Energy Master Plan, the board engaged Rutgers University to initiate the analysis of ratepayer costs, which was subsequently paused due to COVID. The board is now refocused on that event or that effort, and today we approved just now the hiring of what we consider a sophisticated economic firm to continue this work, which will ultimately include stakeholder engagement and a final analysis of the impact. The award is subject to Treasury approval prior to the public announcement of the consultant. The consultant will build on Rutgers' work and ensure that we provide ratepayers and clean energy stakeholders with a thorough understanding of the financial impact of the state's clean energy transition. So you can just get a flavor of how important this study is to us and to the governor. Okay, thank you very much, Ben. And that brings us to 8D, and I believe Ron Jackson, you're presenting?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can, Ron.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. President and Commissioners.
Good morning.
On April 7, 2021, the board denied Mr. John Ranieri's Jr.'s request to deem his father's solar system eligible for the Legacy Solar Renewable Energy Certificate Registration Program, or the SRP. The project had not received its permission to operate, or PTO, by the deadline required by the SRP eligibility date of April 30th, 2020. To be eligible for the SRP, a request for a waiver had to be filed supported by documentation enumerated in the board order establishing the PTO waiver request process. The petitioner had asserted that he and his father had submitted all the necessary documentation, but the board found that one of the 5 required documents was missing, an affidavit from a person with direct personal knowledge that the project was complete, but for final inspection or final permission to opt to interconnect to the grid. The board denied the petition on that basis. Following the issuance of the order, staff became aware of facts that were missing from the record considered by the board. First, staff found that Mr. Ranieri, Sr., the owner of the SREX, had submitted 2 notarized affidavits in support of the PTO waiver request. The first affidavit was submitted on April 29, 2020, and the second affidavit submitted on June 4, 2020. Each included an attestation to his personal knowledge as owner of the system that the failure to obtain the PTO was attributable to COVID-19 related closure of critical local government offices or delay in the EDC issuance of the PTO. The program administrator received the second affidavit dated June 4th, 2020 on June 8th, 2020. In a July 6, 2020 letter to the petitioner, the program administrator identified only one missing item, the affidavit signed by a person with direct personal knowledge that stating that the project was complete but for final inspections and final permission to interconnect to the grid on April 30th, 2020. However, neither this letter or those sent by the program administrator subsequently included the explicit requirement that the affidavit submitted for the person of knowledge could not be from the same person or entity as the affidavit required to be submitted by the project owner. The petitioner had indicated that the installer was also not helpful in this process, but it also appeared that the petitioner was not clearly informed of the need for a separate affidavit. Given the petitioner's good faith attempt to follow the directions and timeline provided by the board for projects whose final inspection and PTOs were delayed by COVID-19 in the state of emergency, the confusion caused by the lack of a clear statement that the PTO waiver order was interpreted to require 2 affidavits to be submitted by 2 separate entities, and the failure of the petitioner's installer to fill its own obligation in a timely manner, staff recommends that the board reconsider its April 7th order and grant this petition.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments for Ron? Hearing none. Ada, roll call, please.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
There are no items under miscellaneous, but we do, as I indicated at the beginning of the meeting, have a late starter. And that late starter is going to be presented by Jim Ferris. Jim?
Good morning, Mr. President and
Good morning.
Commissioners. And thank you for considering this late starter. This item is for consideration of an extension of 2 deadlines set forth in the March 3rd, 2021 board order, awarding incentives to 8 applicants under the Phase 2 Town Center Distributed Energy Resources Microgrid Program. The March 3rd, 2021 order outlines several requirements and deadlines for the incentive awardees, including the following. The board directed each awardee to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the board within 60 days of the date of the March 2021 order. And the board directed that the electric distribution companies meet with board staff and any awardee located within their service territory within 60 days of the date of the March 2021 order's effective date to discuss the design and planning aspects of the proposed project. Several awardees notified board staff that the 60-day deadlines for both the execution of the MOU and the EDC meetings may be unattainable, and those awardees have made requests to staff to extend those deadlines. Some of the awardees require governing body approval in order to execute the MOU, In some cases, this approval may only be available at a governing body meeting whose schedule may not align with the 60-day deadline set forth in the March 2021 order. Further, due to the potential delay in executing the MOUs, the 60-day deadline for meetings with board staff, the awardee, and the pertinent EDC has also proved a challenge to accommodate. Board staff considers these delays reasonable. Staff recommends that the board approve a 60-day extension for execution of the MOU and a 90-day extension for the meeting among board staff, the awardee, and the pertinent EDC. These extensions would be from the effective date of an order granting the extensions. If the board approves these extensions today, the new deadlines would be July 14th, 2021 for execution of the MOU and August 13th, 2021 for the meeting among board staff, the awardee, and pertinent EDC. Staff also recommends that the board authorize staff to make additional amendments to the schedule should it be reasonably necessary. Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments for Jim?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Jim, do we know how much progress these applicants have made, awardees? You know, any percentage? Because I don't know, this 60-day maybe, is that arbitrary, or is that will they be able to achieve completion by 60 days and the 90 days?
Commissioner, some of the awardees have already been able to have the MOU approved by their governing body just because of the way meeting schedules fell. Others have not, but we believe that a 60-day extension to July 14th will be certainly sufficient time for governing body meetings and approval of the MOUs. And then once the MOUs are approved, an additional 90 days from the effective date of today's order for that initial meeting, we believe to be reasonable.
What happens if the 60 days they come back and they say we're not able to meet the governing bodies? Is that possible?
Well, Commissioner, it certainly is possible. I don't think that would be necessary. As I said, I do believe the 60 days from the effective date of an order today would be more than enough time. But staff is also recommending that if there is a reasonable reason for additional delay, that staff can make that decision.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for Jim? Roll call, please, Ada.
On the motion to approve staff's recommendation, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Solomon,
Yes.
Commissioner Chivukula,
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon,
Yes.
President Fiordaliso.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Before we adjourn, that was the last item on our agenda. Before we adjourn, I just want to make a statement here. We have one of the best communication divisions in the entire state. And an awful lot of that credit goes to Samantha Levine. Sam will be leaving us next week. So this is her last board meeting. Sam will be relocating and taking a job out of state. We're sorry to see Sam go. She has been an instrument in making our communications division such an outstanding division. We're going to miss her, but I know you all join me in wishing her only the best as she enters a new adventure in her life. So Sam, on behalf of the board, on behalf of the citizens of New Jersey, I thank you for your service here with us. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. We'll see you at the next meeting. Stay safe.